Hopkinton Special Town Council remote meeting of June 25th, 2020 to order with a moment of silent meditation and salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we got a couple items on our agenda tonight. If someone would, we've got a couple representatives here from the various ambulance corps tonight, and I had suggested to Sylvia to perhaps just move up item number 2 before item number 1 to kind of get these guys that item finished and so we can start our meeting on the tax levy. So
Move that we move them up.
Second.
okay, motion made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Aye.
All right, so number 1 is 2, discuss, consider, and possibly vote to authorize a donation of $1,536 from the town council's contingency account number 001-5065 to be divided equally between the Ashway Ambulance Corps and the Hope Valley Ambulance Corps. Sylvia.
I asked this to go onto the agenda knowing that we had some money left in the council contingency and that it should go to the ambulance services because obviously they've had increased costs that they never anticipated because of the virus. So the amount that's left is $1,536, which I hope we'll be able to divide for both of you tonight and hand you a check, and it will help to a certain degree.
I think that's a very reasonable suggestion. I know that they are having difficulties, and I'm sure everyone else is as well, but the ambulance does serve our entire town. And I'm sure that this is something neither of them had anticipated, to say the least. I think it's a very good suggestion, and I'm in favor of it.
I totally agree. This is Sharon.
Scott, do you have any comment?
I'm gonna vote for this, but I know that we live in unusual times, but I'm just concerned about the practice of the contingency fund being allotted to things at the end of the year. I don't have objection to the ambulance corps getting this. We're in an unusual circumstance, but at the end of each fiscal year, who's on the next council will have to determine what's left in the contingency fund and how that's handled. But that's just a point that I have, because the contingency fund can fluctuate from year to year depending upon how the council chooses to spend that within a year's time. So I will vote for this. Thank you.
Yep.
I think that's also correct, but we certainly haven't done that before, so I doubt this is going to be an ongoing event.
Yeah, the ambulance corps.
We've never used that. Yeah, go ahead.
The ambulance corps, I know I've had a lot of increased expenses as well as reduction in a lot of runs because of the COVID-19. No one wants to go in an ambulance. No one wants to go to a hospital or a rehab center or any place like that. So it's a small amount of money. It's about $768 per corps, but it's a nice gesture. And yeah, I also would support that, knowing the financial troubles these two organizations have encountered because of COVID-19. So.
I move that we allocate the remainder of our council contingency to the both ambulances and divide it equally among them.
Seconded.
Second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. We actually, Bill was kind enough to have Brian cut 2 checks for the ambulance folks that are here tonight. So we're actually giving them the money tonight. So it's a very poignant moment. It's not much money, folks, but we appreciate your efforts and use the money wisely. So, yeah. Yeah. So
How is the ambulance in Hope Valley. I asked Ashway if anyone's been sick, and they commented that so far so good. Have you had any problems with
We had
volunteers?
One COVID exposure.
Okay.
How's that person doing?
Fine, not a problem, and really didn't show any symptoms. It's like you hear on the news, people don't exhibit symptoms, and they come back around, so.
Yeah.
All right.
We didn't have any adverse reactions or any time away. We did isolate that person, obviously, around the street, but don't want to.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
guys. Have a great night. Have a great night. Thank you, guys. Yep, thank you.
Brian,
Okay. Yes.
this is Sharon. I couldn't quite hear what he was saying, but was that an ambulance employee that had it?
Yes, Sylvia had asked if Hope Valley had any COVID-19 cases for employees, and Jim McElroy had said there was one COVID-19 case. Person's doing well. I'm not sure if they're back in the fold or not, but,
Okay.
Yep.
So it was Hope
And
Valley.
Ashway had 0.
and Ashway had no COVID-19 cases.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay. Next item, and only item on the agenda is the discuss, consider to, and vote to adopt the financial resolutions and tax resolutions for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020. As we all know, the budget passed, I think it was 124 to 89, and the warrant item did not pass by a similar number. So I guess before I get into reading these the only kind of general comments I have is, and I think other folks may have these as well, is, what now when we have a warrant item that doesn't pass, and we were going to take some sand and salt money and allocate that to, I think, a restricted legal account. Now that it didn't pass, where does that money go? Does it go to the general fund?
Yeah, it's like any other account. If it's underspent,
General
it would go
fund.
back in the general fund.
Okay, all right.
Or would offset any line items that were overspent. But generally, we try to,
Okay,
keep everything from, we don't want anything getting overspent.
right,
So we
right.
keep a close eye on that. But when things are underspent, the aggregate amount would go back in the general fund.
And we, there was a reason why that warrant item came about, because I think, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, we had a restricted account, legal account that was getting very low, or,
Yeah.
so what do we do? What do we do for that? I guess, going
Well,
forward,
I
how does
mean-
that sort of resolve itself, or does it?
I know, I kind of put some thought into this too, because I think in the big picture, I don't know if there's really too much of an impact, because what's going to happen is that money's going to go back in the general fund. And then if those line items get overspent, if we have more legal fees than we budgeted for, it's going to create an over spending on that line item, and that's going to have to come out of general fund.
Oh, okay.
But again, it's the aggregate of the total
Yeah,
budget. So
right,
if it
right.
can't be offset by other items,
Yep.
it would just essentially create a deficit that would pull it back out of general fund. So, it's nice. To put it
Not
out.
a huge impact, it seems, right? That this warrant item particularly didn't.
No. Because I mean, clearly, if we have to spend the money on legal fees, we have to spend.
Yeah, and that's what I
It's
think.
not something
I had a
that-
discussion with Sylvia earlier in the week, and that's what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're being sued and you have to go to court,
Yeah.
and it's outside of the stipend,
Yeah.
then you go to court,
Yeah.
and that's life.
It's not going to prevent us from spending the money necessary to
Okay, Yeah.
combat legal.
any legal expenses, right? Okay, great, thank you, Brian. Do you, Sharon or Barbara have any questions on what I brought up?
No.
No, not at all.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to start with, Lisa, do you think I need to read anyone in any particular order?
Well, they're listed 1 through,
1 through 6. What about the tax resolution? That's just a separate
that
item.
would be the last one that is read.
Okay, all right. So,
Hey,
well, I
Frank,
guess we'll-
this is Kev.
yeah, Kevin, go ahead.
You just need to have one vote on the financial resolutions and one vote on the tax resolution.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So I'll read all 6 financial resolutions, and then I'll read the tax resolution, and then we'll have one vote for each. Okay.
Can I,
Yeah, in other words, two votes
can I ask that in
altogether.
the future you include that in the packet to to the counselors.
It's two separate votes. Continue, Frank.
Yeah, I didn't hear Sharon's question.
I don't have those financial resolutions before me. I didn't know I needed to go on the website to get them, and so I'm saying
No.
I think they should have been included in the paperwork that was given to the council.
Oh, okay.
There was an email that was sent out yesterday because we had to wait until the budget referendum was done before they could be finalized. So I sent out the agenda the other day that was revised and indicated that a subsequent email would follow. And yesterday I sent the email with the two sets of resolutions in one electronic file.
Okay, I will get.
I have it on my
Okay.
computer right now.
Okay.
I'm on the phone, but the
They're
computer will
on the
have it.
website too.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, Town of Hopkinton, Rhode Island financial resolutions. Resolution number 1, resolved in accordance with Rhode Island General Laws 45-5-2C4 that the electors of the Town of Hopkinton qualified to vote on any proposal to impose a tax or for an expenditure of money in a financial town referendum lawfully assembled on the 23rd day of June after death 2020 and approved and proposed budget for fiscal year 2021. The estimated tax rate for the real and tangible property is $18.28, a decrease of $2.40 from the current rate of $20.68. The tax rate for motor vehicles is the same, I think it's been for a while, is $21.18.
So
Number 2.
moved.
Well, no, we're going to read all 6 and then just vote on all of them at once.
Okay.
Okay. Resolution number 2, resolved, the voters of the Town of Hopkinton in consideration of the question on June 23rd, 2020 town financial referendum ballot rejected the following local question 1, to authorize the unspent balance of the salt and sand budget line item number 5350-6000 and overtime pay budget line item number 4060-6000 in the 2019-2020 fiscal year Public Works Department budget be restricted and placed into legal fees restricted account. Financial resolution number 3, resolved that the town finance director be and is hereby authorized and empowered to credit to any appropriations fund any receipts or donations which apply against that fund and all others not so designated to the general fund. Resolution number 4, resolved that the several appropriations specified be expended under the direction and supervision of the town council, except those pertaining to public schools, bills payable, and interest, which sum shall be dispersed and paid out of the town finance director. Resolution number 5, resolved that the town finance director of the town of Hopkinton be and is hereby authorized and empowered to borrow upon the credit of the town as the same may be necessary during the present fiscal year, such sum or sums as may be required to meet the expenses and obligations of the town, provided, however, that such loans shall not at any time exceed the sum of $1,500,000. Resolution number 6, resolved that the over expenditures in the 2019-2020 fiscal year budget identified by the town finance director are hereby approved.
Motion to approve all 6.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. Any further comments or questions from the council?
I just printed out my copy, so I'm up to date now.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, no more comments. All those in favor of the financial resolutions 1 through 6 as read, please signify your name, say your name and say yes or no.
Scott Bill Hirsch, yes.
Sharon Davis, yes.
Barbara Capalbo, yes.
Sylvia Thompson, yes.
Frank Landolfi, yes. Okay. All right, next up. is the-
Unanimous.
What's it? Unanimous, correct, Lisa.
That's the unanimous vote.
Yep. Next is the tax resolution. Resolved that the town council of the town of Hopkinton, but based on the budget adopted by vote of the town council on June 25th, 2020, pursuant to section 2370 of the Hopkinton Town Charter, following adoption of the proposed fiscal year 2021 budget by the voters at the financial town referendum on June 23rd, 2020, hereby impose a tax levy at a town council meeting held this 25th day of June 2020, and order the and collection of a tax on the state and tangible personal property in the sum of less than $93,646 and not more than $93,646. Said tax levy.
Frank,
Yes.
Frank, you're going in and out.
you're going literally in and out. No one can understand you. I don't know what you did differently. The other resolutions were fine. This one, I don't know if you hit a button wrong, or maybe Chris can help.
I didn't do anything different.
I believe you.
Okay, I'm going to shut mine off and Sylvia's. Can everyone hear me now?
Yes?
Yeah.
Well, you still have a little teeny,
There's a echo.
yeah, yeah.
Try mine.
I shut it off.
Maybe shut yours off.
Yeah. Bill just shut his off. This myself, Sylvia, and Bill at the front table. How does it sound now?
Better.
Better?
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. I'll read the tax resolution again. Resolved that the town council of the town of Hopkinton, based on the budget adopted by vote of the town council on June 25th, 2020, pursuant to section 2370 of the Hopkinton Town Charter, following adoption of the proposed fiscal year 2021 budget by voters at the financial town referendum on June 23rd, 2020, hereby impose a tax levy at a town council meeting held this 25th day of June 2020, and order apportionment and collection of a tax on the rateable real estate and tangible personal property in a sum not less than $19,093,646 and not more than $20,093,646. Said tax is for ordinary expenses and charges of the town for payment of interest and indebtedness, and is for purposes authorized by law. The assessor shall apportion said respective taxes upon assessed valuations of the rateable property of said town as determined by the said assessor of the town as of the 31st day of December 2020 at 12 o'clock midnight according to law. The said respective tax levies shall be applied to the assessment roll as aforesaid, and resulting tax roll certified by the assessor to the town clerk not later than the 15th day of July 2020. The town clerk on receipt of said completed tax roll shall forthwith make a copy in the same and deliver it to the town finance director, who shall forthwith issue and affix to said copy a warrant under his hand, directed by the collector of taxes of said town, commanding her to proceed and collect said taxes of the persons and estates liable therefor. Said taxes shall be due and payable on and between the first day of August and the 8th day of September 2020 next, and or may be paid in equal quarterly installments, the first installment of 25 per centum on or before the 8th day of September 2020, and remaining installments as follows: 25 per centum on the 8th day of 8th day of December 2020, 25 per centum on the 8th day of March 2021, and 25 per centum on the 8th day of June 2021. Each installment of taxes, if paid on or before the last day of each installment period, successfully in order, shall be free from all charge of interest, excepting, however, that where the combined total of said tax and additional tax levied is an amount not in excess of $100, it shall be due and payable in a single installment on and between the first day of August and the 8th day of September 2020. If the first installment or any succeeding installment of taxes is not paid by the last date of the respective installment period or periods as they occur, then the unpaid quarterly payments shall be due and payable immediately and shall bear interest on any unpaid quarterly payments for the rate of 12% per annual. Resolved that the collector of taxes shall collect and pay unto this town's treasury as the same is collected, the tax this day ordered.
So moved.
Sounds like a lot of legal garbage.
Yeah, but I have one question.
Jargon, I should say jargon. I didn't mean garbage.
Yeah, that's okay.
I
No
have
offense,
one-
Kevin. No offense,
approve.
Kevin.
Do we have a second?
I have a question.
You can
Okay.
have a question after a second. You don't have to have it before it.
All right. Do we have a second? Oh, yes.
Second.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Okay, so motion made and seconded. Any further comments? Sharon?
Yes, that sentence where it says not, the proper, sorry, and collection of a tax on the ratable real estate and tangible personal property in a sum not less than 19 million, blah, blah, and not more than 20 million. So why is there a difference of 1 million? Why is there a range rather than just one number?
Yeah, hold on. Brian will answer that.
Yeah, it's just to cover us. So historically, the way it's done is you just take the tax levy, which is right in the middle, and then you give yourself a spread. So if we collect less or more, we're covered. We actually got in trouble in past with our auditors because the spread wasn't big enough, and we actually exceeded the amount. So that was an issue.
So I imagine
So-
they recommended $1 million
Yeah,
spread.
right.
Isn't it also due to the fact that the tax assessor herself needs to certify the roll, and it's not certified at the moment?
That's
And
part of
that,
it,
and
yeah.
that, and that because of people coming in to appeal,
Right,
things
right.
change, or
Things do
there's
change.
mistakes that are made, so you need that.
You need a buffer,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we had a motion made and seconded. Any further comments about the tax resolution or the financial resolutions? I just wish there was a little bit more voters coming out to vote on this, but 213 people is not a lot. And, you know, we all worked very hard on this budget, and as we do every year. And, you know, I just wish the electorate would get a little bit more involved, that's all.
But this is typical of every year.
Yeah.
It's around the
but it
same.
doesn't
It
mean-
is.
doesn't mean
It's
it-
very common. It's extremely common. Last year was 213. This year was 215. I mean, it's very common. It's a problem, but it is common.
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't mean it can't improve, right?
Well, we thank those.
Oh,
workers
absolutely. That would be
and-
great. There are
thank the poll.
over 5,000 electors in the town.
Well,
Very frustrating.
well, let's just thank the voters that did come out, and
Yes.
also thank.
Oh, indeed.
And also thank the poll workers who, 3 elections in 4 weeks. And of course, Lisa's staff and everybody, but,
Could have been 4.
but we wouldn't have had an election if people in our community didn't come forward. People that usually don't work at a poll came forward during a virus issue and helped our town out. And we owe them, of course, a big thanks.
Yeah, well said, Sylvia.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so
Nicely said, Sylvia.
so we had a motion made and seconded. No further comments, folks, council? Having heard none, just signify by approving your name and say yes or no.
Scott Bill Hirsch, yes.
Sylvia Thompson, yes.
Barbara Capalbo, yes.
Sharon Davis, yes.
Frank Landolfi, yes. It's unanimous, Lisa.
Thank you.
Okay.
The resolutions will have today's date at the bottom.
Okay. All
Okay.
right, that's all we need, I think, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Move we adjourn.
All right, Scott made a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Have
All
a
right,
good
Thank you
evening.
all. Good night.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, Kevin. Good night.
Good night.